It's Wednesday, April 15th, 2020. Digital Trends Live is about to start. Here are some of the topics we're covering on today's episode of the show. The world has been long waiting with bated breath for the announcement from Apple that we have a new iPhone, and a cheaper one at that. We'll get you the details on the new iPhone SE and what it all means. And Major League Baseball may not be underway right now, but the 30-team players-only MLB THe Show League is, and we'll have their esteemed commissioner on, Trevor May of the Minnesota Twins. We'll also be joined by Ethan Harrison, the head of digital safety for Verizon, to discuss some of the trends happening in internet usage and some ways that you can make sure you're digitally secure. And with millions of subscribers on Instagram, you probably know the Fat Jewish, Josh Ostrovsky himself, will be joining the show today to talk about his life in quarantine, his $1 Million Babe giveaway, and probably a lot that I have not planned for. All of that and more on today's episode of Digital Trends Live. Hello, everyone. This is Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. I appreciate all of you tuning in. We broadcast live here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, bringing you trending tech headlines, news, interviews, discussions, and so much more. All while broadcasting live across a number of different platforms. We're on Periscope, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Daily Motion, Apple News, 2 different mobile apps, a smart television app, and at digitaltrends.com/live. So wherever you are, you can join in the conversations that we get to have. And I know you're probably really looking forward to some of these guests that we're going to be having on here today. We've got Trevor May, we've got the Fat Jewish who are going to be joining us. It's going to be a great show, and so we really thank everybody who's tuning in for that. So they're coming up shortly, but first, as we always start off the show, we want to bring you up to date on some trending tech news, and the first one is this. Thankfully today, it's not a coronavirus update. That's my top news story. It's Apple with an iPhone, the iPhone SE, to the rescue. So this is something that we were anticipating for a while. We knew that Apple was originally going to be having an event probably towards the end of March. They're really usually kind of secretive about this, but we thought they were going to be making an announcement, and this is the announcement we were waiting for. So the iPhone SE. There have been speculation they could go back and call it the iPhone 9, but they did not. So just calling it iPhone SE, not even iPhone SE 2. But it is kind of the revamp of that original one from several years ago. So here's what we know about it. It's a 4.7-inch display. The previous one was 4 years ago, just for reference on that. It's going to start at $399. That's one of the keys. Now, you also saw right there the A13 chip. That is one of the new chips from Apple, so that is a big deal right there, the fact that it's going to be having that. They're also going to be coming out in a few different versions. There's a 64 gig version. That's the $399 one. Then you have a 128 gig and a 256 gig. It's got 3 different colors, white, black, and red. So all that kind of matches up with what we were expecting on there. And, again, with that chip, that's really a pretty big upgrade. If you talk about the iPhone 8, still has the A11 chip, so that's it's more money for those ones that are still selling it. It is discontinued, but there's still a lot of them out there. So definitely getting a good deal there. A couple of other things. It's got wireless charging, True Tone display, and I'm taking a look here too as this just came out to give you some of these specs. It's got portrait mode, smart HDR. 12 megapixel camera, obviously not going to be as good as the iPhone 11 or something like that, but still for $399, that's a pretty decent offering for an Apple mid-range phone like that, or actually for them, that's the low-end phone. So that's the iPhone SE. Again, that's the name they're going with. It's the first time they've ever repeated the name of a phone. So I guess they figure 4 years, that's still good enough. One key thing, though, of note for those of you out there wanting to get this, it does have the Lightning port, but it does not have a headphone jack. So the headphone jack is gone even on this version of an iPhone. So the iPhone SE does not have a headphone jack. Just be aware of that. We've got all the details, though, at digitaltrends.com. You can go there, take a look at all the specs, let us know what you think. But that is the breaking news from Apple, the iPhone SE being announced. Let us know if you have any questions as well. All right, continuing on here with our trending news at the top of the show, I do have to bring you up to date on just some news in relation to tech and, of course, the battle against COVID-19. One thing for a lot of us out there that we're waiting for the stimulus check to show up. I do think it's a little bit ironic that April 15th today would have normally been tax day, where we all had our money due to the IRS if you did owe money on taxes. Instead, they're paying you. And irs.gov actually has a site set up. It's called Get My Payment. That's the name of the tool on irs.gov. So Get My Payment. You can go there. You can enter in some of your details, including you do have to have, I believe, your 2018 tax information or 2019 tax returns in order to complete it. But then they'll give you kind of a schedule of when you're expected to be paid for that. So a tool that the IRS has up. I will say that it does take quite a while sometimes to log in. to it. We were trying it out this morning, and it took a bit of time. There's a lot of people trying to get in there, but that's something that you can go there and take a look at now. So irs.gov, get my payment with their tool. A couple other things of note in relation to tech and the coronavirus, some little more fun things here too. Sony has announced that they're going to be giving out some free games, and actually some pretty good ones that they're giving away for free on the PlayStation 4 store or PlayStation Store. So it's part of their Play at Home initiative. And that's something that you can go there, and once you pull this up, you can actually log in and get a couple of these free games. You can get Uncharted. You can get like the entire series, apparently, the Nathan Drake collection. You can get that for Uncharted, and you can also get Journey. And so that's starting today, April 15th at 8 p.m. Pacific. So that's when that's going to go, and it'll last for a couple of weeks. You have until May 5th to download them, but once you do download them, you get to keep them. So they said that it's not going to be a temporary download or where it automatically deletes off. You get to keep these games. So go there and take advantage of that. Again, that's coming up later on tonight, depending on when you're watching this. If it's already April 16th, well, then go for it. Go download these. But that happens April 15th, 8 p.m. Pacific time. That is when you can go there and get these games. A couple other things here. I just got to get through this really quick to let you know some news. I know there's always so many things happening that I want to make sure you know. I just want to bring this up because I know that somebody is going to need to do this for all the Zoom meetings that everybody is having. Did you know that you can bring a goat or a llama to some of the meetings? Yes, there is. This is something I had to bring attention to. It's called the Ghost to Meeting Initiative. And it's from a company called Sweet Farm, which is actually a farm where they help with animals. And since they, of course, can't have any in-person contact anymore, they've launched this initiative for Zoom. So $65 will get you into your meeting. They'll bring in a goat, a sheep, a pig, a cow, a turkey, or a llama. And that'll be for, you can also get a 20 to 25 minute virtual private tour. But see, there you go. In one of your meetings, that's what I think somebody should do, is invite in a goat or a llama to join the meeting. And it's just a video of them sitting there chewing or doing whatever llamas do. Who cares? It's awesome. So that's something that you can take a look at digitaltrends.com. All right, a couple other quick notes. We do have some more free entertainment for you that is launching, kind of. So the Peacock network, the Peacock online streaming service that was coming from NBCUniversal, something we were expecting to happen really more towards July was the original plan for this. They are launching early, kind of. So you do have to be an Xfinity X1 or X Flex customer. So you have to be one of those two, Comcast Xfinity X1 or a Flex customer. And if you are one of those, then it'll be popping up right on your service. So if you're already a Comcast subscriber to those two, you'll see it there. You can log in and start watching. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the amount of content, which is going to be one of the big things for Peacock, is a little bit limited right now because they're not ready for all of that stuff. The Office isn't on there. That still is a contract with Netflix, so you're not going to be getting that for a while. You will eventually, or possibly now, and again, since it's just launching, we're not entirely sure everything that's on it, but Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, Downton Abbey, Friday Night Lights, all of SNL apparently will be on there, so that's a lot of different things that are going to be showing up on this service. But right now, if you do have Xfinity in those two platforms, Xfinity X1 and Flex, then you would be able to get it. So that's something. And finally here, for our trending news topic of the day, I just wanted to bring something else that's, a little bit more fun. Remember when Baby Yoda was the only thing anyone talked about? Like, that was the big news story when it came to tech and entertainment. God, I miss those days. Well, now you can revisit it with Disney on May the 4th. Yes, Star Wars Day. They're going to be launching a behind-the-scenes series with 8 episodes on The Mandalorian, how they made it. They're going to talk about some never-before-seen footage they're going to have on there. They're going to have roundtable conversations with Jon Favreau and some of the cast members. So, and of course, how Baby Yoda all happened, or the child. So there we go. There's something to look forward to that's a little bit more uplifting, remembering better times when Baby Yoda was the big news. So there you go. You can read more about that at digitaltrends.com.
Hey, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's now time for the product of the day.
And it is the iRobot Roomba 614 robot vacuum, the iRobot Roomba 614. So this is what our product of the day is. So this is a 3-stage cleaning system, right? We're all at home right now, and I don't know about you, but since you're home all the time, it seems like it's more difficult to clean. So what you have here is with this one, you just press clean on the robot and it'll start doing it. So it's got a 3-stage system. It loosens, lifts, and suctions dirt. It navigates under furniture and around clutter. It automatically docks and recharges, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it, oh no, I'm going to trip over the Roomba because I forgot to charge it again. It'll take care of it itself. It also avoids stairs and other drop-offs, so you won't have any Roomba accidents where it throws itself off of the stairs. It apparently knows to avoid that. It sweeps wall edges, and that's pretty cool right there. You can see, and corners, and it's got a reusable filter, so you don't even have to buy a new filter. This is pretty much an all-in-one system, so that is the product of the day. And right now, it is 40% off, so pretty good deal. If you've been in the market for one, what you can do is click that link that's right below me there on whatever platform you're watching on. You see it, enter that, and then you can go there and take advantage of those savings and get that. So that's our product of the day, the iRoomba 614. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, this is Digital Trends Live. We got a lot of show left. We have a lot of guests that are going to be joining us. And coming up next, we're going to be talking to Trevor May, who's a pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, and also happens to be the commissioner of the MLB THe Show Players Only League. So we've got the commish coming on next. So stick around, back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and thank you everybody for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it, and we get to talk about all kinds of cool things on here. And as we know, the Major League Baseball season is postponed at the moment, just like everything else. But there is something that's going on, and that is the MLB THe Show Players Only League that is happening. 30 players from 30 teams, all competing. And joining us right now, and of course I do have to say it's April 15th, which is Jackie Robinson Day. We have the commissioner of the MLB THe Show Players League. We've got Trevor May joining us right now. Commissioner, thanks so much for being here. So here's what I want to talk about is just starting off with this. This is such a cool concept and cool thing that you guys are doing. But for you in particular, being the commissioner, I want to know how that happened. How did you get that role? Was it by you asking for it, or was it by demand of the other players that they demanded that you be the commissioner? How did that all take place?
Definitely wasn't by demand. Yeah, I asked for it. This was I've had a relationship with Sony, been a Sony partner for a couple years now, played the show a lot. During that partnership, I've been a Twitch streamer for going on 4 years partnered now. So I have a lot of experience in live streaming video games and kind of having one of those types of personalities. So, when the season got postponed, it was an idea that kind of immediately popped into my head. A lot of tournaments and things of that nature, like a lot of players wanted to play the show and give the fans a little bit of an opportunity to interact with them some and still have a little bit of a baseball experience, even if it is digital. And I was thinking just maybe we could go bigger than that. So we approached my team, and I approached them with the idea, and it kind of blossomed from there. And we got a lot of people involved with the PA and the MLB, and to kind of just find all the players. And a lot of guys were super excited to do it and have an outlet and have something to do. Something to look forward to every day. So Yeah, it's been good. We've already noticed like the competitiveness coming out of guys real quick, especially if they haven't played the game much. It's frustrating immediately when you're not as good as you want to be. So, making for some good stories.
Right. Yeah, and that's actually talking about that, the frustration probably for some players who don't have your experience in playing this, but are still just as competitive. I would think for the commissioner, do you anticipate any disputes happening? And if so, do you have a plan in place to handle those disputes?
I mean, it would be foolish to say that that stuff wouldn't happen. It might, but hopefully we can handle that stuff with a little bit of humor. And you know, I'm tempted to just take it full dictatorship if it comes down to it, and just say, what I say goes. But obviously that's not how it works. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Cross the bridge when we get there. I'm really excited because there's some other stuff going behind the scenes that are going to make the league a little more fun, a little more stuff to talk about. That's pretty much all I can say at this moment. But as a commissioner, I get to announce some of this stuff, so I'm excited about that. But just to tease it, but in terms of disputes and things, I might just have to put my foot down and say, you know what, guys, this is how it's happening. You're in my house, and you got to listen to my rules.
I like it. I like the authoritarianism of that. So, well, talking about this, just how exciting it is for not only for the players, but also for all of us who are fans of sports and just have such a lack of that right now. Watching this, I do have to ask for you and getting to see this behind the scenes of the players actually competing and getting to hear them talk so far in the league, which has been going for several games now. Who has been talking the most smack?
I mean, it's got to be Amir Garrett. He's just so animated the whole time. I don't think it's even direct trash talk. There's still like everyone's just now getting their first round games in and kind of hanging out in like the Zoom call kind of situation with all the other guys playing that day. So there's a comfort level. A lot of us have never spoken to each other. Like we're on different organizations. Some guys don't have a lot of big league time and haven't been around as long or played against all the teams yet. Right. So, and they're just guys we've seen on MLB TV playing. So we're getting a certain comfort level, I think, where we're comfortable, like we would talk to our teammates, getting to that comfort level. So I think we're going to see it sharply incline, the old graph of trash talk, if you will, probably pretty soon. And then as we get into the playoffs, the guys who are pretty cocky, who win, who have 20 plus wins, are all going to get going a little bit. And that's nothing but good for the league. So I hope it bleeds into social media and there's videos and all kinds of feuds going. I hope that we really lean into that.
100%. I love that, hearing that when players are talking like that to each other. It's a lot of fun for everybody. It's all in good spirits. Talking about it now, you mentioned the playoffs with some teams that are going to have 20 plus wins. Right now, do you see anybody who's a favorite or anybody that you think is going to be making the playoffs? If you had to do some rankings, where would that lie?
I mean, Gallo's 8-0, and not only that, he scored like 1,000 runs already. So he's gonna be probably the guy to dethrone. Bo Bichette 7-1. There's a few other guys who are 7-1 who went 4-0 yesterday. The league's kind of split between guys who have played MLB The Show or like have a PlayStation even and are like used to a PlayStation controller, and then like half the guys are like just bought a PlayStation for this, or they play Xbox usually. Well, they don't play a ton of games, but they like video games. So let's just put like there's like half pretty serious gamers and then half that are pretty casual. And so those casual guys though are not realizing that they don't have their competitive outlets, so they're trying to be more than casual now. So I think things are going to change a little bit. Like guys are going to come out of the woodwork, start playing a lot better in the next week or two, because they're going to be putting in a lot of time, off the stream and outside of the league into it. But I would say Gallo's probably the favorite at the moment. Blake Snell's been grinding like crazy. He went 2-2 in his first weekend. I think we had it was me and Blake and Amir and Gallo. I think we had several of the guys with the most experience in the game all in the first day. And so, those were probably some of the better players. And then it's kind of shaken out to where, we're kind of in the top half of the league at the moment. So, but I went 1-3 in my first day. I was extremely disappointed in my first, demonstration of my skills. So, You know, but I like to play the underdog. I've always been a big underdog guy, so maybe I was just putting myself in that seat. So we'll see. But yeah, Gallo's probably the guy everyone's chasing at the moment. Everyone wants a piece of.
So Gallo leading the way right there. Like you said, 8-0. I got to ask too for you, playing the game, and you've been playing the game for a long time, but what is it like playing as yourself in something like this? Is it surreal? Do you agree with the portrayal, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it was surreal at the beginning. First seeing yourself in a video game, that's kind of, I grew up playing a lot of video games too, and especially baseball games. So like that was part of my visualization of playing at this level was from video games, like imagining myself in a game. So that's a realization of a dream, almost as much as actually being on the field for the first time in the major leagues. So yeah, I got to experience that twice. Since then it's become kind of normal, and and I am a little bit like, I bring myself in the game, and sometimes my command isn't there, and I just don't know what these guys think of me when they made me in here, and that maybe my command isn't the best, but I got good stuff. And so and it's frustrating, man. I throw myself twice, and I have not pitched well either time. So maybe it's something mentally that for whatever reason you just don't want to mess up with yourself. But yeah, I got one blown save, and I've won one blown game so far in the league, and it was me pitching when it happened. So yeah, I mean, it's great. It's really cool. You get used to it a little bit. I think I've been in the game since 2011, because when you're in Double A, they started putting the minor league guys in, and so I'm kind of used to it at this point. But I try to have some perspective and think that's pretty dang cool.
We have one final question here too. This was proposed. So, would you rather pitch a perfect game in MLB The Show against one of your competitors here, or strike out Mike Trout in real life?
Oh, smart. Strike out Mike Trout, because he's going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest player of all time, probably. And that's something like I'll be able to tell my grandkids, because they'll know who he is. So, like it's the same as the guys who played against, back in the 50s, 60s. Right now, some of those great players. Like if you struck out Rod Carew in your life, like that's something that you're gonna always remember. You're gonna tell everybody forever, because that guy didn't strike out. So, and I am lucky enough to say that I have done it once in my career, so I will be able to tell my kids that. But yeah, he's a special player. He's a once in a generation player. So, yeah, the real thing is always gonna trump the video game for sure.
Yeah, which does make sense. Well, Trevor, I want to say thank you so much for joining us, and it's really entertaining what you've got here, and I appreciate your control over the league as commissioner to keep everybody in line and to make sure it's all going well. We've got the link right there for everybody to watch. There's games. I believe are you playing today?
I play tomorrow. Yeah, I
play tomorrow.
I don't know who the prime time. So we have primetime games Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Robert Flores comes on and kind of hosts the show, and then one guy who has built kind of a fairly high quality stream that can kind of handle being kind of the primetime guy. He plays everybody, and then they bring everybody in kind of so you can watch the games both point of views. And that's they try to produce that 3 times a week. So tonight, I don't know who the quote unquote primetime game is, but I was primetime on Monday, so now I'm on Thursday. I play kind of on my own stream.
Nice. Well, Trevor, thank you so much for being here on Digital Trends Live. Really appreciate you joining and talking about all this. It's a lot of fun, and thanks a lot, and best of luck with the season. Hope to see you in the playoffs for this and taking down Gallo.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us again. This is Digital Trends Live, and I know we've got a lot happening here on the show today. We've got the Fat Jewish, who's going to be coming up here in just a little bit. We also have Ethan Aronson next, who's the head of digital safety for Verizon. So let's go ahead and get to a break. Stick around. Back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live. Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. Hit that subscribe button. That way you get notifications when we do go live. We've got a lot coming up here on the show. But right now, we're going to talk about the fact that, hey, we're all working from home. I'm here in a corner of my living room. You're probably wherever you live. And we're all on the internet a lot more. So let's talk about that usage in general and how to stay safe online. To do so, joining us right now, we have the head of digital safety for Verizon. We've got Ethan Aronson joining us right now. Ethan, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it means to be head of digital safety?
Sure, Greg. Thanks for having me. So digital safety at Verizon is a really big and important topic. We have a variety of interfaces with users, and that ranges from our cellular service to TV, all the way to Yahoo and AOL, which are both Verizon properties under our Verizon Media brand. So we have a lot of touch points with consumers, and we want to make sure the consumers are staying safe when they're online.
So talking about that, and since so many of us are, online now, it's been kind of interesting to follow some of those trends. What are some of the trends that you've seen as far as internet usage during this quarantine or during what's going on right now in the battle against COVID-19?
Yeah, Greg, I'll say the data is really, really interesting, and it really backs up a lot of what we're hearing on the news. So, for example, we're seeing network data showing that gaming usage is up about 115%, so more than double. We also noticed that VPN usage, so people dialing in from home into their corporate networks, up about 50%. And my favorite stat is perhaps this one, voice calls. So voice has kind of become unpopular in modern times, but people are using text messages. But voice calls are way up during the pandemic and the quarantine. Our busiest Sunday of the year is Mother's Day, when lots of people call home and check in on mom. Right now, every single weekday, we're doing about double the volume of voice calls than we do on Mother's Day.
Wow, that is crazy to think about, that there's that many people, getting involved in that. And looking at this, going forward and talking about everybody adapting to what we're in right now, because we don't know when this will all change. What are some important things for people to keep in mind when it comes to digital safety?
So we're really stressing the message to parents. One of the things that we really pride ourselves on Verizon is being an ally for parents and helping parents keep their kids safe online. And one of the messages that we've really been broadcasting loud and clear is the importance of parental controls. So we know that kids are online in unprecedented numbers right now. There are kids who are learning online. There are kids who are talking to their friends and gaming. And because parents are so busy right now, working from home and trying to keep their daily semblance of their lives, they don't have time to be looking over their kids' shoulders and watching all of those digital interactions every minute. That's why parental controls are just so important right now. These are controls that allow parents to moderate what their kids see online. They can block inappropriate content, they can protect your kids' privacy, and they can act as an automatic regulator for screen time, so the parent doesn't have to be the bad guy and turn the device off. The app or the device can actually do that itself. So we think that those controls are more important than ever right now. And the studies and the data shows us that only about 25% of parents are regularly using those controls. Those controls are present on the device. Those controls are present in the app. They're on your home router that powers your internet connection. Those controls really are everywhere and available to parents. And we'd really like to see parents learn about those controls and start to execute them and really help their kids stay safe online at a time when parents can't be there every minute. And we know that a lot of parents are not super sophisticated when it comes to technology, and that's okay. These controls have gotten easier and easier to use over the years, and we've got great resources online. A website called internetmatters.org has fantastic advice about step-by-step how to use those parental controls for different devices, for different providers. Also, our friends at the Family Online Safety Institute have fantastic information, not just about parental controls, but about a holistic view of how parents should be raising kids in a digital age. So we think that's a really important message and one that we're really trying to broadcast loud and clear.
That's great. I mean, and speaking of broadcasting it loud and clear, obviously you're on here, which is fantastic. What are some other ways that you're communicating right now in this era of how everybody's kind of changing up what they're doing? How is Verizon communicating these messages out?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's not an easy time because the media is entirely focused, understandably, on COVID, and it's tough to get messages about digital safety out right now. But we're trying our best. So one of the things we did was have our general counsel write a blog post on this topic, which has gotten really nice coverage, and we've gotten a lot of attention on that. So we're looking to non-traditional routes. We're really happy to be here and talking to you and other programs like this, so we can really try to get parents' attention during what we know is a really tough and distracting time, and get them to spend 15 minutes, 30 minutes just on parental controls. The rewards are really worth the time spent.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the show to talk about this. It really is interesting hearing some of that data that you were saying, just the double the amount for Mother's Day on every day pretty much, and just seeing where that all goes and how it's all changing is fascinating. And I want to say thank you very much for joining us to talk about this. Ethan, really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Says Ethan Aronson, head of digital safety for Verizon. Really great talking about that. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to have the Fat Jewish who's going to be joining us. But first, we've got something for you from Riley Wynn, I believe it is. Talking about dating in the era of coronavirus. How does it all work? How are people handling it? Well, he's going to be talking about that next. And then coming up a little bit later, we also have TBD with Jess Serba and Adrian Warner. So a lot happening here. Thank you to everyone who's joining us. Whatever platform you're on, hit that subscribe button and join in the show. Ask some questions. We'll answer them. All that's coming up next, though. So stick around, back here in a minute with more Digital Trends Live.
There's no doubt coronavirus has changed the way we live, but it's even changed the way we date.
Dating's hard nowadays, but now it makes it all more confusing because of the pandemic, and you can't really, go sleeping around with people because you can't really leave the house.
We message back and forth every few hours, so there really hasn't been any progression.
It's been kind of tough because we don't really know when this whole thing's gonna be over with.
People were already using dating apps before, but since everyone is stuck at home, they're swiping now more than ever. On Sunday, March 29th, people swiped on Tinder more than 3 billion times. That's more swipes than any single day in the history of the app. So don't worry, love isn't dead. People are still finding ways to date right now. This is love in the age of coronavirus. We're all bored at home trying to find ways to keep ourselves entertained. I mean, eventually you're going to run out of stuff on Netflix to watch. So if you're single, you might as well start swiping. But exactly how much more are people using dating apps?
Got a lot of time around the house to myself. A lot more screen time.
Oh, definitely. Anytime I get a moment to check my phone, it's either Instagram, Snapchat, and Tinder, and Bumble. And then it was okay, go back to work or whatever I'm doing.
I know that Tinder keeps sending out things like, swiping's really hot right now. It's well, yeah, people are stuck at home and that they got nothing better to do.
Bumble and Tinder have seen an increase of messages sent by over 20% since this whole quarantine thing has been put into effect. Of those messages sent, the first one you send is very key in setting you apart from their other matches. Back before coronavirus and social distancing, you were probably able to get away with a corny pickup line like, going to Whole Foods, want me to pick you up anything? Or, is your name Earl Grey because you're a hottie? Or the classic late night scroll through Tinder spamming you up. But now, the first message tends to be a lot more topical.
If the coronavirus doesn't take you out, can I?
Maybe it's COVID-19 outside.
We should have a coronavirus party. You provide the coronas, I'll bring the virus.
You can't spell quarantine without Q-U-T.
If you were a princess, can I be your Prince Charmin? Like Charmin Ultra.
When those pickup lines don't work, do you have to use your personality to get to know someone? That's a big yikes. But people are being forced to get to know each other online because honestly, there's no other way.
I'm a person that likes to get to know somebody before I meet them, but other people tend to want to meet first. And now I'm trying to get to know somebody first, and it makes it a lot easier because then they have to get to know me because we can't see each other.
It kind of gives a little bit better of an insight of like how people handle like being stuck at home and what their activities are when they're at home.
You can't lead with, we should meet up. And so it's a lot of small talk and talking about what your hobbies used to be and, you know, things that you might do after this pandemic is over, and kind of really softly setting future plans.
Once you've spent time getting to know someone, what do you do after that? Because usually the next step is meeting up, and you can't or shouldn't be doing that right now. So what do you do?
There's been a lot of Snapchat videos. I only lightly suggested FaceTime videoing somebody, and they were like, no way, Jose, like, I'm not about it.
She goes, yeah, I really wish we could go out. Would you be open to doing a virtual FaceTime date? So I actually did one of those. So we both went to the store on our own and got the same alcohol, and we made mixed drinks at our house separately and then just kind of drank like that. And we ended up FaceTiming for like 3 hours and taking shots.
Bumble has seen an increase in the use of its voice call and video chat features. The average call is about 15 minutes. People are actually taking more time to get to know someone and having mini virtual dates. Let's say you're one of the lucky few and have found someone online that you like and want to hang out with. Can you keep the conversation going until this is all over?
I made a joke. I said, when this whole quarantine is over, couples are gonna have to go get tested together before they can go on their first date, but everyone's gonna be testing for coronavirus instead of anything else. So I think people might start sticking to those guidelines of no new exposure to new people within 2 weeks, and then you can hang out.
Honestly, I think it depends on the person. I think there's people who would be down to go out right now, and like maybe it's not like go out, but I mean, even before this happened, people are down to Netflix and chill pretty much right off the bat. So, and I don't think people are that, at least the people that I've talked to, I don't think they're that concerned, and they're willing to take a shot if it's just one person. And if you got like a good thing going.
I feel like once we get closer, people will start kind of going through their list of conversations and finding, you know, rekindling that old spark with people they might not have talked to in a couple months when there's actually potential to hang out.
We know it's tough. You want to get back out there, but just be patient and continue to practice safe social distancing. Hopefully, eventually we can start to go out on real life dates. But until then, you'll have to rely on dating apps and virtual ways of finding love. Just because the fire isn't being stoked doesn't mean sparks can't fly. Until next time, I'm Riley Wynn with Digital Trends, and thanks for watching.
Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. I'm Greg Nibbler, and thank you for joining us wherever you are. We appreciate it. Of course, hit that subscribe button to get the notifications when we go live. But with over 11 million subscribers, probably more, you're most likely subscribed to the Fat Jewish. And during quarantine, he's been doing some pretty amazing things with Instagram Live trivia and also giving away $1 million of Babe wine and more. Joining us right now, we have Josh Ostrovsky joining us. First off, thank you so much for being here today. And I wanted to ask you just right out of the gate with all of this craziness that's going on Instagram right now and all these Instagram Live videos, it's fascinating. What is the craziest Instagram Live video you have seen so far during quarantine?
First of all, how many Instagram Lives had there been before quarantine? I'd seen like 2 ever, and now there are 15 going on at all times. Like at every moment, there are 15 of them just going off. Celebrities are having the absolute most insane conversations, cooking the weirdest stuff. Like you're like, maybe think before you press the live button, like use some, like exercise a little bit of caution. I mean, that being said, there have been some incredible lives. I did watch Cardi B yesterday peel an entire mango with like 6-inch long fingernails, but literally peeled it by hand. So like, it's been mostly trash, but there's been a little bit of fire.
Well, and you've been having your Instagram Live trivia events, too, that have been going on, your trivia game show. And I wanted to talk about that because some of the prizes that you've been giving away are pretty amazing. Can you tell us about some of the things that you've done so far?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, basically, like, at Babe, we were like, yeah, there's all these Instagram Lives, and, like, it's cool. Like, I can watch, like, people dancing, but like most of them are boring and nobody's giving away anything free. Like everybody's stressed out, right? Like mental health is a huge issue in all this. So like, what if I gave away some free awesome stuff, so that like, even if you didn't really care about my feed, you'd still come in and be like, I want free stuff. So, I mean, everything from, we gave away trips, close quarantine. We gave away 6 months of therapy to 4 different people. We gave away flat screen TVs. We tried to give away a live Falcon. We ran into like some legal problems. We gave away a jacuzzi. We gave away honestly a used jet ski, not lightly used, heavily used. We ran out of money towards the end. So, but it made a lot of people happy. We paid people's rent. We had a woman in Las Vegas who had lost her job. We paid her rent. We paid her rent for like a bunch of months. So like I decided, using my platform for good hasn't always been like my thing. It's usually mostly just for like ridiculously stupid stuff, and killing your brain cells. But I wanted to, try to give something back.
Yeah, which is amazing. I mean, giving away rent like that, and also just with the $1 million of Babe giveaway too that you did. And I was wondering with that, because I read some of the different stories that you had with that. Is there any particular story that stands out to you of something that was really cool for somebody receiving that box of wine?
Yeah, I mean, we basically put it out there and we're like, look, like everybody is people are just stressed out. People are freaking out. So it's like, what's the best way for us to help on that level? Because everyone's like just stuck in their homes. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are actual heroes out there, but like we're all doing our parts. Like we're washing our hands. We're staying inside. Like we all deserve some wine. Because like you've been wearing the same sweatsuit for like a week. And it's like filled with your farts. And, like you don't know what day it is. You don't know what time it is. You're like eating like lo mein at 10 in the morning. Like things are confusing. We're all stressed out. So we were like, let's give it away. And we got thousands of messages. We said, if you're 21 and you want wine, we will give you wine. So we got thousands of DMs, nurses, doctors. I mean, we gave hooch to like tons of people who deserve it, like actual heroes and people who are like being heroes by just staying home. So we got a lot of Americans drunk. And honestly, right now, like that's kind of important.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's very important. I think that's really awesome that you guys did that. Talking about it, you're just going through this time, and I feel like it's kind of like a big leveler for a lot of people because we're all in the same boat. But for you in particular on Instagram, how have you seen coronavirus change even the memes that you're seeing out there?
Yeah. I mean, actually, what's crazy is that the world is like everything feels like it's falling apart, but the internet is actually thriving. I mean, there's obviously tons of negatives, like in that, like, and I've said this before, like your stupidest friends are now scientists, and like a DJ that is like sharing a graph about like the growth of coronavirus, like in Brazil, and I'm like, you're literally a DJ who has a coke problem. Like, I'm not believing a graph you're showing. So there has been a lot of internet stuff that has been not so great, but like while like the economy is suffering, people are out of work, the meme factories are booming. there is so much content coming out right now. It's really insane, like all day long. And it feels like quarantine, like the quar, as I call it, feels like there's different phases, and now we're out of the Tiger King phase, but it's been everything from, the man with the large penis who everyone was sending to each other, into Tiger King, to Andrew Cuomo nipple memes, dog memes. I mean, there is just so much fire content coming out right now. It's really, really incredible. And it's like, honestly, I think like memes are like probably really, really helping and are important.
I think so too, and you're right. It changes like by the hour. I mean, Tiger King, that was last week. Now it feels like it was a year ago at this point.
Totally. Also,
but yeah, it's just changing so quick. It's
like, does Andrew Cuomo have a nipple ring? Like, we still don't know. We still do not know. Like, I've been doing heavy research on that. People were licking toilet seats. I mean, the amount of content that's coming out is just absolutely mind blowing. And like, memes are important. Like, we learned that back in 2016 when they like had an actual effect on the presidential campaign, and they are helping now. So like, if you make a meme, even if it's garbage, like, you're doing your part. Like, there's so much fire content right now. Also, just want to note that I am like probably losing my mind somewhat in quarantine, and have decided that I was going to shave my head to look like a middle-aged bald dad. So like, I just want to note that. So like, I bought a karate gi on Amazon, and yesterday I was like wearing a karate outfit and have the haircut of a middle-aged bald man. So like, I'm getting super experimental in quarantine, and you should too. Like, take fashion risks, to like try things you've never tried, learn French, do watercolor, try anal sex, just do it all. It's quarantine. Don't, it's a once in a lifetime thing. Get experimental.
Right. It's all basically kind of Vegas rules, I think, at that point.
Totally. It's airport rules all day.
All right. So with that, something else I had to ask you, because you mentioned buying your karate kit or whatever it is that you purchased there. Talking about staying in shape. I know that you've been making some efforts with that and doing a lot of things along those lines. What have you been doing to do that in quarantine now that you have to be stuck inside?
Like, is it like doable? I'm like having trouble. Like, obviously I'm seeing like a ton of fitness influencers with like abs up to their lips who are like getting after it in quarantine. Like, this is going to be the time where like I make my like V lines even deeper. And I'm like, how is that possible? Because the thing is, like, I do a lot of stuff. I have like a deal with WW, formerly Weight Watchers, and like I had lost a ton of weight. I was much more Shrek bodied like 8 months ago. And I didn't find it that hard to do, but it's like impossible in the quar. Like, how are you supposed to, like, how are we losing weight? I literally don't understand. Like, I'm actually drinking queso at 11 o'clock in the morning and like crying in the shower. So I don't know how the fitness influencers are doing it. Like, somebody let me know like what to do, because I have no clue. And like, I'm definitely like, I'm getting thick. And by the way, don't be scared. Get thick in the quar. You know what I'm saying? You can get thicky in the quar. Like, you do not have to like, there's just the fitness influencers are freaking us all out. Do not listen to them.
Okay, there it is. That's directly from the Fat Jewish. All right. One other question here I had too, just because there are so many different live streams, like we talked about at the beginning with this, and everybody's doing them, but you do see a lot of interesting mashups where you have people doing the DJ battles. You had Risen Premiere with something like that. Is there anybody that you would want to do an Instagram live stream with?
Let me see. Yeah. Possibly Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean, someone needs to check on the celebrities, right? We know that a lot of the celebrities are like deeply unwell in the quar, and I'd really like to talk to some of them. Jake Gyllenhaal. Obviously Cardi B, who's just like the most everything, like nothing but respect for my president. So yeah, there has been some fire DJ stuff. Although, to your point, like there have been some fire DJ things, but there have been some really bad. Like, the number of DJs going live in their bedrooms with no shirt on is like way too many. So we need potentially less of that.
Yeah, I agree. More shirts for a lot of situations. That's probably a good rule anyway to follow. Well, first off, I want to say thank you very much for taking some time to talk to us here, too, on this show for Digital Trends Live. Appreciate that a lot. And just kind of to wrap it up, I guess one question that we always ask people is, what's the one piece of technology that you couldn't live without?
Let's see. I actually... This is gonna be sort of a weird one. I don't know the rules on this show, but I have a large. Are butt plugs considered tech? No, I guess not. They're not really tech. That's not really technology. Technology wise, I don't probably my Vitamix blender. Is that technology? Because you can blend anything up in that thing. You can put your house keys in that and it will go. Like that thing you can blend like a vegetable and it'll make it hot and make soup out of it. So like, does that count? Because the Vitamix is like, I'm blending all kinds of shit.
Yeah, I think that perfectly counts. I mean, and plus right now during Quar, as you said, what better time than to grind up keys or see what that thing can do.
Totally.
For everybody out there who wants to watch your Instagram trivia,
two things real quick.
Yes.
One, if you're over 30, like be careful when starting a TikTok account because like that can go real wild real quick. Like it can go bad for you very quickly. Second of all, you're looking hot. Like I know you probably did like a little stuff for the show, but like you're looking like a snack in Quar. A lot of people, I mean, look at me right now. Like I literally shaved my head to look like a middle-aged man. You're looking like a whole meal. So, congratulations on like being a snack in the Quar.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, we'll see after what another 4 weeks does, and maybe I'll shave my head like that too. So.
I'll check back in with you. You may unravel at some point. We all are, I think.
Oh, it's a very thin veil between this and insanity right now. I think for all of us. So yeah, I think it's 4 weeks from now. Let's check back in.
I've lost my shit, so I'm proud of you. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks a lot. All right, that's Josh, the Fat Jewish, right there here on Digital Trends Live. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all of you joining us. This is a lot of fun. So we've got more coming up here as well. So we've got Jess Serbon, Adrian Warner for TBD, which is our weekly segment here. TBD, what is it about? I don't even know yet. That's why it's TBD. So you're going to have to stick around. We'll be right back after this with more Digital Trends Live. Hello and welcome back to Digital Trends Live. This show is wild. We are broadcast live here every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. So hit that subscribe button and join the show for each one of those episodes. But right now it's Wednesday, which means it's time for TBD. What does it mean? I don't know, because that's why Jess Serba and Adrian Warner are here to tell us what it's about. Hello to both of you. Thanks so much for being here today. And as always, Adrian, can you tell everybody what TBD is about and what we're going to be talking about here today?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if we can follow what just happened, but we're going to try our best. And this week, as always, we're going to be talking about the intersection of technology and pop culture. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of an echo in my headphones. So this week it's going to be called Transported by Desperation, because we are going to be talking about all the virtual experiences online and all the things that you can do while you're actually in quarantine, or core. Very important. So my question to you, Greg, is have you had any sort of like awesome online experiences in the past couple of weeks during quarantine? Have you done anything kind of out of the ordinary to try and feel normal?
I mean, trying to feel normal is so hard at this point. I don't even know what that is anymore. But I definitely have had like a lot of happy hours, a lot of those. That's been kind of strange, and like had a birthday party that was all online, and somehow it got out of control, and I don't even know how. Like we're all in our own houses, and it got out of control. But yeah, like things like that. But I'm really curious about some of these other ones, these other experiences that are out there.
Yeah, totally. Well, you know, over the past couple of episodes, we've been talking and exploring the creative ways that people have been connecting during all of this. You know, you mentioned some happy hours and things like that, but there's organizations out there that are also trying to do their best by providing people experiences, whether it's, you know, tours or, you know, alternative ways to travel during this time. So we wanted to explore a couple of these options. And the first one that's coming up is, you know, this is a roller coaster ride proverbially, but there's also virtual roller coaster rides that you can take out there. People are really missing their vacations right now. And, you know, a lot of people have had to cancel their travel plans, especially with spring break. So you can go on, you know, YouTube even and take 360-degree Disney or Six Flags rides. You know, you can still drive people crazy by dragging them on a small world after all. And a lot of these are actually kind of unofficial too. They're not necessarily put out by the group doing them. So there's just a lot of different options. Virtual museum tours are also another really good example of this kind of 360 technology. And museums are officially putting out a lot of virtual tours. So there's a great set of options for checking out all the famous museums in the world. Google Arts and Culture, which launched in 2011, so it's been out for a while now, has just been adding so much content to their options. They have AR, they have VR. You can even watch a cute little AR penguin wander around museums in London or Seoul or Paris, all of these really beautiful places that we can't get to at the moment. And I wanted to, you know, round out this this little collection of offerings by talking about wine as well. So, you know, we were just talking about wine giveaways, and the Fat Juice was just talking about that. But you can still, so if you're enjoying drinking right now, you can still expand upon your learnings and, you know, expand your palate, if you will. Online classes are a great way to pass this time. And like this last Sunday, I actually just participated in a wine class over Zoom, just talking about all the wines of Western France. And you know, they sent out a little list before of what you could buy and taste along with the class. And it's just a really great way to feel connected still and drink, obviously.
Clearly. I mean, I like the idea that I can learn while drinking. That justifies it a lot more for me right now. So I need to get to one of those classes. Yeah. You know, it's an educational thing. That's, yeah, it's, you know, I have to do this for the class. All right. That's fantastic. Jess, what are some other ones that are going on right now?
Well, you know, as Adrian mentioned, travel is a huge area that's sort of going, you know, what do we do right now? For example, Airbnb, they have their experiences service that they're actually bringing online. So since 2016, Experiences has existed as a way for guests to sort of like explore different activities while they're on their travel. unfortunately, no one is currently on their travels. So they're basically want to continue that focus on human connection by bringing all of those experiences online. Whether it's cooking lessons or meditation guides, or there's even like magic lessons. There's a lot of different ways, different opportunities to sort of connect in that way. Even though you may not be, somewhere far away, you can kind of connect with someone in that space doing something like that. They're using Zoom as a way to connect everyone. And something I really, really liked about it is they've also partnered with a number of local organizations around the world to help create experiences that are tailored toward older residents who may, want to stay at home. And enables them to learn a new skill while making sure they're protecting their health. So that's really exciting. Another company that's doing a very, faced with a big thing and, are trying to figure out how to work with it would be Eventbrite, because they're an experience discovery platform. They're a ticketing platform for a lot of different, live in-person events. So they're having to go totally virtual. And I thought some interesting data was they've actually seen a 227% growth in online events since March compared to February. And their traffic to their online events has gone up 200% since before COVID-19. So people are looking for ways to connect. The top trending searches are actually virtual run, quarantine book club, yoga, Zumba, and webinar. So definitely people looking to, make sure their health is still taken care of, and just ways to connect with other people in more normal things. Daybreaker is another example too that they had given. It's basically like a morning dance community. I don't know if you've seen it, but it takes place in like 28 countries around the world, like 500,000 members, and it's a way for humans to like start their day in an inspiring way. They pick these like beautiful big locales. It's a sober event. Everyone dances together. And right now you can't dance together, so they've been looking for ways to do that as well. They're having their first live event, which is going to be done on Eventbrite, delivered via Zoom, and they sold like nearly 3,000 tickets in a space of days. So definitely people are looking, for ways to connect.
Well, I would say pre-quarantine Daybreaker sounds like an absolute nightmare to me personally. But during quarantine, hey, why not? I'll buy a ticket. I'll try it out.
Yeah.
We're down for whatever.
Greg, I do have to mention, we nearly called this segment "Trying Not to Break Down." So yeah, any way we can be with other people, we're gonna try.
It's all so close, but this is a great day, transported by desperation. So some great tips right there. But I know there's one other part to TBD as well, and that is Kick Stop It. I don't know what it is today. What do we have?
So as we take our weekly look into the wild, wild world of crowdfunding, we found this really exemplary product that, if you don't feel like doing the laundry right now, this could help out. It's called Fjord, and it is self-cleaning underwear, or at least it claims to be. It's made of a proprietary blend of fibers, and they claim that you can take it anywhere around the world and wear it for multiple days in a row, so that you would only need to travel when we can get back to traveling with one day of underwear. Now, this may apply to maybe more of you just sitting at home and not doing laundry, but it says it fights bacteria and eliminates odors, so you can wear it over and over and over.
Wait, I do have to point out, I feel like this is one of those products where it, may not have necessarily been meant for a situation like this, but it sort of took off when presented with something like this, because it is 411% funded. Like, people are
perfect right now. People do not want to wash their underwear.
Apparently that is the trend. I mean, well, let's be honest. The only thing everybody sees is just on a Zoom meeting. It's everything from the waist up. So, I mean, at this point, yeah. So, Fjord underwear you can wear for weeks. I'm looking at this right now. All right. So, it's always Kickstart It or Kickstop It. I got to ask, Adrian, Kickstart It or Kickstop It?
I thought long and hard about this, and I'm going to say Kickstop It, because if I'm thinking about everything that is taking up room in my suitcase, underwear isn't like my biggest concern. I think feeling fresh and clean is a higher priority not doing laundry.
All right, Jess, what about you?
You know, I agree with laundry for me is not that difficult. I'm totally on board, to make sure everything feels great. However, I'm going to kickstart it just because it cracks me up.
Yeah.
Somebody out there needs this. So let the people have what they need, you know?
That's true. You both make really good points on this. So I guess I'll say kickstart it, although for the price of these, I could probably just buy more underwear each time. But yeah, I'm going to go kickstart it too. We'll go with that. Well, I know there's one final thing that we always have here with TBD as well. And
yeah, speaking of
Mm-hmm.
things we need some sweet Charlie Cam right now. There he is, enjoying the springtime, having a little romp around in the grass.
Look at that.
Look at that little loafy body.
Affection.
Or a whole meal, if you will.
A whole meal.
Today's weird. All right. Well, Adrian, Jeff, thank you so much. Another edition of TBD right here. Always appreciate it. I'll talk to you both soon. And thanks to everybody who's tuning in right now, wherever you're watching. We do appreciate it. And of course, you can hit subscribe because each day we have another show for you. We've always got some amazing guests here on the show. So many things to talk about. Let's see, coming up tomorrow on the show, we've got Lisa Marie Segarra for a gaming segment. We've got Jay Williams to talk about sports and athletics. We've got the Lieutenant Governor of Michigan, Garland Gilchrist II, is going to be joining us. I mean, that's on tomorrow's show. Today we had, of course, Josh Ostrovsky, the Fat Jewish. Thanks for joining us. We had Trevor May from MLB, Ethan Aronson, like all kinds of different people here that were on the show today, and that's just this one episode. We're here every single day, so hit the subscribe button, share the show, let other people know about it. Of course, follow up at digitaltrends.com for all the tech news and everything that we talked about. We've got links and details, everything you need. And I'm Greg Nibbler. I'll see you right back here tomorrow with another episode of Digital Trends Live.